what put me off, and I hate to say it, but it is pretty much common knowledge nowadays that the journalistic profession does not enjoy the same high reputation that it used to. Mostly because of unashamed bias. I mean, we used to make jokes about Fox News, didn't we? You couldn't trust something on there.
Yeah.
But now all of the mainstream media in the States, and it's getting that way in New Zealand as well, you can't necessarily trust what you're seeing and everything, and that's what sort of that's why I didn't want to be there, really.
And it's become sort of more opinion, like editorial based, and like facts. That's they're kind of reporting what might happen or parts of what has happened, and then spinning off stories around that rather than actually reporting the entire event, from start to finish. And it gets sensationalized. And probably the news that really bugs me these days is like how they use social media as news, and people are just rehashing tweets and Instagram posts and all that sort of thing, and it's like that ain't news. Like, those journalists didn't go out and hunt that down. They just sat at their desk and waited for something to go bing and then go, I'm going to write a story about it. That's not really journalism, I think, that we would have been interested in.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's what we're talking about is like the hard news and the important stuff, but there's so much of it is just soft news. So much of it is a celebrity said that, somebody on the internet said this, and it doesn't, and a lot of the stories that are, I think, perhaps not deliberately, but we hear, if you put on the news, you'd be living in fear, basically, if you took all of that in. Like, you'd think the world is a horrible place. But you're not going to see many stories about how infant mortality has dropped massively in the last 50 years, how there are less hate crimes going on, how there's less poverty, and more people living in democracies in the world than ever before. And I get the feeling that it's been well documented that people are more fascinated by negative things and by bad news and that sort of stuff.
It's human nature, eh? Like, people get sucked into the negative stories. I was listening to a podcast the other day about that, actually, and how they said that a guy, I think it was over in the UK, tried to start up a good news like website or whatever it was, and it bombed, because people don't want to hear good stuff. They want to hear stuff that that makes them feel better or worse about their own miserable life potentially, and you want to hear the tragedy. You don't want to hear the victories and the wins.